it's not peace that you're after. It's to be in the dance, the tussle of the masculine and the feminine. There's always going to be some amount of it doesn't even have to be conflict, but there is conflict. You might get along as great friends, but you're not going to have that sexual attraction. You're not going to have the dynamic that makes it an actual romantic relationship. You want to be fighting these fights. You want to be having this struggle. You want your woman to always be emotional, to stay in that state, and for you to learn how to handle that and to deal with that, and that to respond in love to those situations. And you can have peace, but you're going to have depolarization. You're going to have, you don't have the sexual polarity, right? If you have that level of peace, because the masculine and feminine, it's not peace that you're after. It's to be in the dance, the tussle of the masculine and the feminine. There's always going to be some amount of it doesn't even have to be conflict, but there is conflict. But it's, a woman's always going to be emotional.
Right.
There's always going to be that element of chaos. A man's always going to be trying to order things and trying to have it all planned out. And those things are going to come into contact with each other. And it's good, because that polarity is what creates the sexual attraction, makes the masculine and the feminine different. And then when you create a relationship where it's not like that, you might get along as great friends, but you're not going to have that sexual attraction. You're not going to have the dynamic that makes it an actual romantic relationship. And so that's where you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to, we did videos on this, even on my channel, about making a woman a bro,
Yeah.
And it's like, you think that's a good thing as a man, but it's not. You want to be fighting these fights. You want to be having this struggle. You want your woman to always be emotional, to stay in that state, and for you to learn how to handle that and to deal with that, and that to respond in love to those situations, because it's causing you to grow, and it's keeping the polarity in the relationship, which keeps the attraction.
Well, just like we were talking about with women, about she doesn't want a man that's just like, yes, honey, whatever you want. She wants a man to put her in her place sometimes.
Right.
And that keeps that polarity. And like, it's the exact same thing with guys. It's like all these people, men and women, think they want somebody that just does what they say.
Right.
And that's not actually the key to the best dynamic and the best relationship. It's to embrace the masculine and the feminine.
Right.
And embrace the differences and like value what those combining forces, when they come together, gives you that you can't get by yourself. A man can't get that by himself, and a woman can't get that by himself.
Exactly.
Herself.
If she's
well, today maybe she'd go by his self. But
but it's the masculine and the feminine, right? It's that dynamic. So it could even be a same-sex couple or whatever.
No, that's true.
It could be that, or the opposite, polarity. But the point is that you got the masculine and the feminine. You have to have that dynamic. And that's why a lot of like what we say, it's not just the guy should work and the woman should stay home, because we're like, beat you over the head with the Bible or whatever, because we're not even religious. But it's not because it's like a sexist thing or this is the way, the old fashioned way. It's because you need to have that polarity in order to have a strong relationship and to have that sexual attraction, to maintain that over time. And so you have to have a masculine, someone who's acting as the dominant masculine role, and someone who's acting as the feminine submissive role.
Right.
It creates that element that you want to have in the relationship.
That's true.
And it's funny because gay couples do understand this, because there's always a femme and a butch, or a top or a bottom, and like that type of, like, they're very familiar in that subculture talking about these things, because they understand it, that you have to have that, and that's an important element. Otherwise, you're not going to have that attraction. So it's not even a man-woman thing. Most of the times that is, a man is masculine, a woman is feminine, and that's who you are at your core. But it's a masculine, feminine thing that is essential.